아, 앱질 무시 주요 말봐. 다 가서 당 karsangshaga kwa laosi sperena zebishishat jishat bina idong jabwe malustokpa inang teni trust zebishishat na teni ngati da nangpa sangyaspa tanga tae jisir cheno notpa mikelche teni pantok chochis da tibu ina kwa notpa 샤치 니즈만이 metkiang nangbo sangyas bichi mangpoji tapena chi choski pongbo gyati jitong zarin chi ta zalwale tenna zola kangyur tengyur mana de puti nishu nigya sumgya de mangpoji shachi zgya tondak dor dustana teni ko chi zirche nozana notpa makyal zirche zgya notpa mani makyal jenla notpa mani makyal pantok choshi ale sundu choches pantok choches piar sundu chos galte pantok 좀 manyen nakado 에 판톡 맞추나 려 노빠만이 맞게 내 려 할래 오 뜻송대 대니시나 뜻대로 종나가도 판톡 주체스 판톡 맞중나가도 판톡 마오나가도 노빠만이 맞게 다 디나만이 뜻대로 다디 스페라티니만이 맨게 다 젠만 망보지 야레 다스쿠림 주체스 야 테네만아 초실 주체스 야 만아 미나 망보죠 두알레 이 주제만 망보지 창만 돌 두스다나 노빠 마kel 저칸디나 두스겨 스쿠림방 노빠 마켈나 스쿠림이노 판톡나 구림이노 판톡 조 년나가도 젠라 판톡 조나 라 판톡 요아노 딘데스부아 젠라 판톡 조스간인 데스부아 랑 판톡 차노 젠 세링모 류죽체시 스tundu 조 년나가도 랑 세링 소링아 류체시노 rang tsering shogring yongche se pe jaftan churwale skurim churwale da menda churwale micho kuchu churwale da menda yale ta tekun sangma chonang de micho na ma chonang de chuches pu tondak zopo tsering shogring yongche se pe jen tsering shogring yongche se pe shokma chatpa setar tang gosano ka bo daring chokshina skepjirum buche pepsteno siliguri yale teninga ta chakzot kundun pepsteno tena chokla lechet ba samjik pepsmena mamangpoji daring ngatok chuchu jipakane pepste tene raluk tene nya tene cha te mangpo mana mamangpoji tene ta lak mangpoji ki tene setar salaza tene o tena chogale setar chuchesi po ta ngata chosi ningbo jokpo dustena wale ta tibu mani shego shi duale tibu setar chuches setar chukchesi ses skepches shenpe laga chammi chukches 셴빌라 가죽 갈때 차체스 요 차차르테나 줌스데 경체스 세타르초체스 랑랑 스쿠림지 고나 랑 세링 쇼링지가 루슈운 네 나마오 세링 쇼링지가 루슈운 네 데네 차오 참오 세링 쇼링지 용식 네 파마오 세링 쇼링지가 용식 삼나 찌쪼고사노 세스겹고사노 쇼크겹고사노 야샤쪼고사노 코스메트켄라 코스탄고사노 노르메트켄라 노르탄고사노 tene zama metken la zaches metken kun la zama tangosano pene metken kun la pene tangosano serve tambien dozer kane sangye chundan de serve tambien doina kazuksung te kyakdana tsering gyuni niste shok chot ba pawatang jenla khazas rabdu jinba o molte milwa tsering gyuni niste tsering gyu tsering chese pier gyu nizi kyakmo nizina chit kyodana tangpo shok chot ba pong nisbao kerena jenla khazas lasos pe jinba gyalatong molte duale o de jenla jinba tangchasino jinbena kharji yutkya zama yutkya konches yutkya ta pene ino man ino chi jik salchesino te tangosa akwa tangosa tong ta banda chisecheno ngatale azu pugosano chiseno ta jinba tangchese pia lo yangba shi gosano peneji yunang rangrang pia nyachis 직 gyalaji na rang pie mani masama manok pandang tering atal tisu shi sambai na borte yodna nangpa sangyas pi chanyit ma sangte no rang pie nyarchis jenma man tik man tang minyan chis jenma pie man tang minyan chis changkan ji thong nang kirmu nga ji tang na hale cha nga kirmu nga tang spin kirmu nga hale che rang pie kirmu man stong phalan chi phalan tong bum lak karut phalan tano cholam cham purano man cholam mangpo tano rang pie jenme pie kirmu nga mani tang nyana ma kirmu nga pong tangkhan dang mitang khan jana mitang khan ma kya dang tiri tu sikha izuk sik song ta kya mardo ngan ne izuk indro pa dang tiri tu zana ngan ne pala izuk indro pa tuk min ken ni jinba utang go sano jinba man khan me tang song ba sang sangyas chom dan de se chi song te du zana che ring dot na ka to skip po yong dot na ka to shok job shik tene jenma kun la jinba tong mo te ni se na do wale song ba sang ko 판톡 조식 저렇게 보이나 두스테로 판톡 pokazuk jogo sa nokzana pene tangste pantok jo anokpa kharji tangste pantok jo anokpa ka bo daksanga tale sadarji ko ni jimba kazuk tangdu o tena chonga ta tanggo sa no kharji jimba tangdu wale kharja ma kharji oda kharji jimba nga ta tanggo sa no nga ta tang man nangpe man ta man ti tangche si lukshol jingmet kya lukshol nga ta mete no mani sangya se masungte mano sangya se sungte kya sungte nga ta man ya ka marchiste no marchis basang ta dang tringa ta nangpa shuk minwale nangpa shat minwale nangpa chang mana chize nang mana azu yo minwale zor ji mana minwale zor ji meches bu cheze na rang chos bu rang laglan machos basang ma onsta ti bu just nga ta le chose ningbo no pa mikel chisi no pantok chis bino ti ni sina duduale o tinga ta le chi ji na jinba u gyala tango sano jinba tangchis a jinba da tango sano zerte rang daring ne phal jinba tan zerte izu inazu tang chi nga ta phoda metro hamba yo metro ana hale semina man dotte gyang metro kule exercise jogo sano haji ko ale nga ta ale exercise kan yong wale chi ji na ko exercise chos pasang tene kule danin jik ta yong wale tenan nang jin la nga ta chose khani na tangbo khora exercise chok mana yongche se pie chizir cheno laglen chu nyenche se pie sunjus chu sano sunjus chu ste jangju gomju na ka do kule ale kule zenang da dawa khachi gina gyurje kanemet yongche jino lo khachi gina mana mizang pol gyurche no mizang po thak chote gyurano mizang po gyurje sting na ta nangpa zang po gyurano mana nga ta cho zang po choskan ni mizang po ji gyurano pantok chokhan ni mizang po ji gyurano tibo dawa chingni lo chingni sinna gyurja kanemet yong thakchot mana thakchateno gyurja yong chugna kato tibo daksa nga ta yong mane machukpa ta daksa chakpa luseno lo tukchu dunju alepkan ko ni thuksam sala lo tukchu dunju serkan tungtung jing manakwa tizuk tungtung jing menak lo mana lo lenak mana tukchu dunju mana tongpa pon mana menken jik choste tene ta tenna tetsok jik put ta shiche tuk samte thuksam jik salna ma obgyal chichi secheno sema cerkek yongo sanokba tena nangshini no kyokdong jiginang da nachung jiginang thuksam jik salna ta lo tsam jik putok ta lo tsam jik dukches yitkyak tantan jik metkyak thore shin na tat patik metkyak taring dugena miduk chishi chan jik dugena miduk thore chakpa dugena miduk chishi kalte dugnang tene thore ne phala lo jak tsam jik dukches yito hafta tsam jik luches yinto tantan jik metkyak pa 송바선 덕상다 루스텐 장포톱 셈스탄 장포톱 게 낭당 주스켄 낭신라 지서체노 라스 룸파스 키스테 칼바장 파마 초스단 던칸네 루즈라 스키 투고 스키왈랑스테 칼바장 아타 상마스 칼바장 포송테 마나치 야 라다 파이나 라스 스키스테 칼바장 야 가르샤 파이나 가르샤 스키스테 칼바장 파마 촐단니 부사 스키스 파마 촐단니 포모아치스 할레 tena tsokla kinori pa ina kinora jiste kalwazang pama chuldan ni kalwazang pama chuldan desgan ni jiste kalwazang hale laman jalkan ni kalwazang chose sheskan ni jiste kalwazang songba song tezu kalwazang poji thopskan di mana thola putans ba thola putte thola puluk tyang chi jiste puttos na kazua puduk zena ngesamena notpa kyalin puddu wale si jenla notpa kyalin dukste notpa kyalin duks pasang teni ran notpa yostano ran nat yawano rangla natsa yong rangla mana semla mindut kan mangpo charba bab kan to ale yong nga tsepi dugun samna dukshi si madpa na chu tane chang mayong pa semina mindut kan mano changma charba bab ste ngalo cheang tung ste chano nat mangpo chano doton thamchen mindup kan yong 총식 당남 때니 람로 차마노 스쿠림 잠식 쩌나 만 짱 미판 칸 용도알레 미 망보 제르도알레 nga 스쿠림 마 망보 쩌스펜 솔카 마 망보 땅스펜 만에 촉 망보 풀펜 찡자 민다 쩌스펜 짱판 마판 팟nga 만에 라즈람드릭 만에 용아메 플란저 칸 용도 nga 때즈 미 망보 nga 카 용시스 삼백 땅나 스쿠림 쩌스테 nga 둥테 때니 chodme pulkan 쩌스테 람 민다 쩌스테 녹바 딩지 코랑 세미나나 노파 미켈체 판톡체시 랑렌 보만 유르직 만 마운스 바상 데니 야 직 스쿠림 담메다 망보시 추스칸 쩌나 대잠시 판톡 마송데 지에제나 코 서포트 고사노 봐 할레 베나 초가 식당 스쿠림 식쩌나 꾸림 델라 서포트 고사노 봐 서포트 보추 고사노 판톡 지스르체노 록속식 고사노 록포치 고사노 세미나 오 콜라 답바 고사노 세미나 노파 미켈체시 팟 이치시 답백 고사노 데니 판톡 주체시 순두시 아주이 지스체노 양 셈지 고사노 야 joyful attitude zerdugal 우즈고 고사노 디부 용나카도 데니 고 스쿠림 지쩌나 만 서포트만 gel라 요타서 스쿠림 참마 데니 나투 민치시노 스키포 용노 스쿠림 주스데 마 판톡 찬 당테니 스쿠림 주스데 판톡 미눅 저칸 용두바 어디 판톡 매치스 스쿠림 주스데 판톡 메트 마노 라라 판톡 용치시 지마 쪽고 라라 말루스데노 라이 세미나 만 장주비 셈즈랑다 셈장포 만 말루스 셈장포다 맨낭디 그랑 셈장포 지마 하고 만 메테노 빠타오 만 메테 낭바 상게스 버즈칸보 카토와 다르족식 땅칸에 되니 낭바 상게스 버 귤삼테노 낭바 상게스 버 귤시스마노 카토와 다르족 땅칸에 있을 낭바 상게스 버 노잖아 테 우마노 카토와 다르족다 수이땅 나직테노 다르족 땅칸에 있을 때 낭바 상게스 버 귤라마노 데나 쪽라 라가 쳔와이 땅스테 두그나 쳔와이 코르테 두그나 낭바 상게스 버 귤라노잖아 귤라마노 낭바 쳔와 땅칸 잠식이 낭바 상게스 버 귤라마노 오늘 낭바 상게스 가지고 귤라노잖아 다이지즈르간 나신라 세미나 노파마니 미켈즈르간네 탁잣 고사노 dombazer bogosan nga nangpa sangyas pa ino tenna ujaste not pa mani mikyal takchat nga nangpa sangyas pa no thekpa chenbu nangpa sangyas pa no Sri Lankan nangpa sangyas pa manok Burmese nangpa sangyas pa manok tenna chokla teni Bombay kunla yotkenni nangpa sangyas pa mambo ka tezu manok nga tang laks pe nangpa sangyas pa no garsha pe nangpa sangyas pa no kinor pi nangpa sangyas pa no nga tang ale phakpa thukje chenmi jesun jukene nga tang ale thekpa chembo 장습 셈빈 남바 상게스바 택바 쳔보즈 kan 보노 인체스 비저스텔 만나 노파 미켈 치tam직 마챈 칸네 판톡치스 ngaimana 순주스쩐 판딱한 보 nga인가 판딱한네 초바인즈 칸네 티보 담직 고스바 네 켈란직 주스테 켈란즈르도 알레 만나 탁차테 dom백 고사 dom바즈 칸 보노 dom바군레 dom바즈 칸보 메드나 카도 테니 만나 마디스 dom바즈 칸보 고사노 알레 domba kazu gosan domba zirkan chi no gosan ozu kelen chokan chi gosan kelen hon dun doskan chi gosan kazlante kalan bo kazu chi gosan da yang nge dabste jinba not pa mikyal chik nispa oi nogle phantokan hale su jigla yale jajiginro kijiginro ya rajiginro lugjiginro tajiginro bongbujiginro sta bongbu chijin sujin bilajin ya mosquito jin sujigli nang nge not mani mikyal tup nani nge phanthokchen nge damjain khelan justet khelan kmana promise ozu teni mana ti thakchat ko sara ba ti ujosna teni ngoto domba yote no domba zerkan boti domba zerba ngata mi mangpe yang samduale domba zerba gelon e domba ale gelong kuni mana chapche konte sha traste teni mana marpo serpo shilte teni chik mana gunpe ang duksen chikla domba yud mane ngata domba kani yon ale ngata skyawo no pa ngata skyamo no pa skyawo kyamo domba chikani yon ngata domba me kya samte samkhan duale ti mane diga mano domba ngata nangpa ji imba ne phala takpa chambu jula yutken takpa chambu ji inken ni pala lags pa ro hop me rob man lags pa rob lo man dompe meken ji man chik lose goshes man lags pa keren ya garje pa keren chik pa no kinor pa keren chik pa no drukpa keren chik pa no bhutanese ya suji into nangpa si in ban pal domba meken ji kan yo domba meken ji man yong shiches man yong goshes man 하고래 domba go sano ing mana kanim met mana yale java chogo samano kanim met chomo chogo samano hale kanim met sa traste gunpeng du go samano hale tiko rara kangpeng dukste rara chong bong tangste rara mana chi las chi chu no just dugna dikteno conscious po mana yale skewi chas konte skewi las chi no just dukste mana magar mana ibus sirip awu michosis 지스체노 노빠 미켈치시 켈란 판톡 주체시 칼란 되보노 당하다 알리 초시나 로당 쪽시에 샷나 이 daksa스라 쪽알레 스리랑칸 농도알레 스리랑칸네 단 낭파 상기스파 쪽시나 탁파 만바자 탁파 충운자 콩군이 다 람룩설 쪽시야 말도 판톡도 판톡 콩군에 조치시노 조고시상이노 이나 소쪽보 판만이 판톡이 베라오 조지 쪼마노 조 샤체스보 조 코라이 베라 만나 닝동 닝두스 싸와 쪽보 샤드나 코랑군이 제라노래 노파 미켈치 노파만이 미켈치 노파만이 미켈치 류즈 nak 창매 노파 미켈치 좀 맞았대 노페 지 삼방한방 만이 미쳐시시 우죽시기 때문에 노파 지당 제바 스팡칸징나 지하 때니 코랑군이 냠는 조지야노 스리랑칸 케렌 인트로 버미스 바 인트로 타이 부디스트 인트로 야 콩콘 디스고노 나당 라스파 나타 potpano Bhutan baino teni Sikkim baino ngata Himalayan region tela thakpa chambo zarano ngata chepik sim chisecheno parak yuteno chepik sik parak yuteno di tini thakpa chambu gyutpa zarba thakpa chambo zarba kazuk sik gosano dina mindra kazuk sino janne kyak notpa mikel cheta yindang yinang di thowa notpa mikel chema chete pantok jo nzir kanji di choba da skyo langsano ngata dosa laks ba inbane pala Himalayan rigudika dukane nangpa sangyes ba inbane pala thakpa chenbu rigudla keskenino rigdang gyutpa choksina desu chesteno inang semina thakpa chenbu chospo shesang meshis tantan metkak shesken konmo hale ngata chono laks ba inang te laks ba mangpoji ki chang shesa metropa kenken jima mangpoji metkak teni lama kune molkana tesamji malusten maustano lama kuni molnang te nijang kuni shesi ke minupa ko minuk zerdu wale lama kuni chik zerdu nga ko minuk jal mason lama chilap to ang saldu pumbang go bor chitong sik saldu nge thong spen ke shungdu chik tak du te tak spen zer kanji mani chi moldu zana chi shi zara hale lami kundun le sonte chi moldu chi sik shes to shes po chi sik tos 지지 아주 까몰지 몰체스 붙지 몰두잖아 지시 때 받아마서 되니 지톱스노 나 슝두 톱 알레 어때니 분배 추식 톱나 마gel라서 되니 짜 구샤 짜식 당도 구샤 짜오 집이 당스노 지시 직접도 다 하마 코세데 룽룽 코르테 자로 우주도 알레 어럽럽데 정말 이만은 코르테 자루 지상와 지금 도백저로 보이는 장 답바요나 진럽던 주가 줘봐 이낭 대잠시가 좀 나섰다 송바상 땅에 시고시스 막 갈천도 와래 덴발레 토스 삼곰 저때 토삼 곰숨보 용고시스만 갈천에노 daksa mi mangpo zerano gol 토삼 곰숨 저간 뭐 타바꾸니 줘노 단당 테링이 춘zat꾸니 만 조목꾸니 마 토삼 곰숨 gelazadano 다 토삼 곰숨도 코랑꾸니 겐둔데니 마르포 납칸 겐둔 춘바 던 춘마꾸니 조제노 나다치 삼관지 세메나이야 토삼 곰숨 창망하다 이쪽에서 겨우 뺨모 알레 데나 쪽라 아비 메메 창메 초스 셰고사노 셰고스만 가서노 셰스바 데니 셰스테 지조사노 초스만 보시 만나 바 타메 초스만 보시 셰고시스 요tka 디부 창마 셰고시스 두장메tka 어떤 고시장 메tka 알레 peche puti ma mangpo shige kya dorju lung menga mangpo shige kya tekun sangma loa zong tekun sangme drondok chat tekun sangma silinduna lo mana chu nishu jik silte dunang sheches ma ka pono ma ka swale tibu sil goshe sangme kya chang goshe smet kya tekun ni tondak zo no pa mikelche zirte tibu shego san ngata kyawo inang da kyamo inang no pa mikel he zirte tachat tibu nangpa sangyes pa no no pa mikel Tenin takpa chenpo in kan ishaste nga tang laaks pa kiskan ishaste notpa mikel chitsam matsat pantokan tani panla sujiga pantok kushes yunang e pantokan chungchungshik mani yali chungchungshik mani mana pantok chikcho dhub manyan nang ketpar mika nga pantok kirmu chujik tangste pantok dhubin kirmu ngashik tangste nga pantok dhubin chu turmang kang chu liter kang tangste tani pantok dhubin man mana capsule toksi man chik mana tangste dokpo chik mani tang manyena tibu tangste nge pantok chen samkhani chungchung jini phala pantok chen zirkhanji ta tibu kani met kalan gosano khaslan gosano damja chogosano damja medna tizu chen dugnang domba metena ba chen dugnang e mana choje dukspinzer khachik duale shamiza kan khachik duale nga mana shamani zamishis lo mangpo shamaz zamashis 샤장 타방 민국샹 만 탑봉 몇 샤장 진보강 소라 민국 샤자한 샤미스 샤자미시스 도알 디스 샤마저나 마자나 샤미자치 켈렌주스비나 마주스빈잖아 마주스빈 켈렌랑 몇빈 장몇 샤마주스빈 샤마주스바 달로 니슈 탈직 송저간 용도알 갈라다 송 이낭 domba 몇비 샤저스데 마주상 코 대삼지 캡처무지 마송다 샤 마주스비 게위자와 파윤 유당 밑격잖아 유tka 파윤 유tka 샤 마주스바상 파윤 유tka 인낭 델라 domba 몇비 코 낭파 상게스비 낭파 상게스비 초스 모독시에 규르치스 마카스포찬 샤 마주스낭 코 대삼지 아주 마송카 당 모토 엄마나 야레 낭파 상게스비 초스 랑랑 수수 판톡 쳔모지 용체세 피에 직전나 띵하다 스페이식 보나야래 스페이식 보나 카르지만 갤릭 주스티였나 이 사토포지게 카 punkti borna ma kharji demoji ka kharji ma yale delicious yale ya Japanese kharji indro ya mana dan mana Chinese indro ya mana tane French indro Italian indro mana kharji ma gala kolte kya ti luksa not mani mepi I thalwe na yok taste no thalwe na chebi yok tas ba ti tis ba oho ma kharji gala songale kharji ma demale ma 5 star 6 stars zui kharji indro ba 이 자체지노아 자 아주 롬체지노아 자 판토 자체스레 판토스 유트가든 자칸마 망보지 용체만 지선 라메카 요스탄스바상 콜라 쾌 아주포나 데르마만 디시제노바 디시마나 야레 마 갈릭나 룩테 요드나 코닥세 카르지 데나오이노레 라메카 보르치스 카르지 데나오노 데 디시마나 갈라지 상마지나 보르바 데니 미창메 잔년체지노 되니 롱챗 년체지노 미창면 되니 쫑낭만 쫑당낭 린톱체지노 코아마나 판톡 쳔무지 유스주스 용전와래 그때면 바 카르지 쪽이노 된나 코레가 고랑이노 바 보르사오 아 라미카 라미킬로 똑똑똑똑 주스데 다 도낭잖아 수 돈체만 봐 그 라미카 이즈와 되니 토르토르탄스바 돈체만 봐 판톡 갈때 쫑낭 다때 뉴스 녜만 이 이탈리안이노 이 되니 프렌치노 이 마나 Chinese 이 Japanese 저런 찍던데 빠참식 세나 그 노트 갈라메피 할레 라메카 룩 욕당스버상 그 용칸 용체만 오고 레니니 용 시제노만 판톡세만 오고 그 유스 주제만 만년체만 오고 됐나 쪼할레 나타 샤마자 창마통 지 셈바상 보초스칸주스 장마나 민다 갈라 조칸 쳔나 domba오 맷나 마나 카르지에 플레이트 메칸쪼 카르지에 디시 메칸쪼 어디 주라노 곧장 잠식제나 곧 대잠식 린탕 메칸지 찬 송바상 간이 맷 dom바오 고세지노 하고알 티부 세미나 볼고세노 지자라 적동 나중다 망치와 적동 나중 샤다노 바이카 펩켄 장마 다 갖보가 뭐 됐나요 직바노 domba오 고세지노 다링니 팔라 dom바 숭테 dom바자나 치즈노자나 인지 민지 간이 맷 아직 곰바식이 나송때 되니 직 초가식 땅때 되니 고 구르때 직 랑고시식 된지 몇 개. 라이 세미나 다타니도 탁차대. Rai kundunne, lame kundunne takcha na pa gyalano. Kate tizu mauna, laman din dizuk zerdu tane penlange miza tam cheste. Junane lama jige kundun le sonte nyesang jugo sano. Nyendu jugo sano, nyendu dongo sano. Zonte nge taring ne pala lo tsam jige pia zerpena, tizu jige ka nge sha miza zerkane. Taring nge tizam jige lata shishi tsakpa sha miza zerte. Hale. Shishi tsakpa nge chukpa mitang zarato. 시시 착방에 창 미둥서라도 이 담책 주스다나 다른 담차 주스간이 주스간이 주스들이 다른이 팔샤 미자칸 상마 되는만아 양탁비 아주 초슬 주라노 쇼스본 되는 밭 마타할래 판톡 첨모 주라노 유스풀 주라노 하고 대만이 이 담자만이 마추스베 샤마스데 두땡아 샤사메 드주시 이낙 저칸소 양 같이 저도할래 같이 지저때 가만히 노빠결 미시스파 안 노빠 지jalling 안 노빠결 한 민민민비 안 노빠만이 결 미시 가랑 딩신이 껴베 독한 인빈가 장 노빠 미결 칸인 저때 영 제비 랑랑 소소 나 결속 요틱 두알레 지그 지저신노 캥백 쪽식 지금 나 결저신노 봐 쪽식 당안 노빠만이 결시사메 저칸 단단히 미 망치셔 저두알 랑견 부마통테노 알레 송바상 랑견 not kelano pa not man ra minda ngue shuk gut man minda not pa kelin do ano pa ina de 통하면 pa 랑견 man 마통 바상 안 not pa kelame zerato 같이 ngar 준 man이 땅 미시즈 간트 용도 와 준 man 니마 딱 벌 추저리나 준 리다 깔리메 따줘 봐 ina 준 man이 땅 미시 अर्जुन तामे जर 간트 용도 와 अर्जुन तामे जर do 와 티 따줘 봐 temale nge seminar अर्जुन 따줘 삼도 ina 공군에 준 तामे जर 바상 이나 대수 준 마땅나 적다 준당 맺삼나 릭대노 gelano magar domba yutam에 대우 따고시 각전 domba 오고서는 준 미땅 준 땅나 semjenjen라 not gel도 할래 not 빠차도 대인등의 준 미땅 속전나 semjenjen라 not gel도 대나 송바상에 속 미쳤 할래 대나 쪽라 때니 직접 샷나 미군라 not gel도 할래 직접문 저칸조 뭐지 저칸조 저땅나 지 미고 스파라 파롤보 스페라 땅칸 년칸지 미직 때나 오호 코쇼 용틱 송삼데 그 직틱 두알레 직스바상 세미나 쩨피시 미스킷 파지오노 스키포이 교마노 송바상 세미나 not 갈테노 봐 스페릭 저칸조 지기 쩨피시 직 난백 땅스바 데나 위저스데 미우 셈바 마킷 파지 롱롱직 셈바 낙롱롱직 주라노 Tena ujeste semba maskit pasang skipo metken song pasang semjen la not pa kelteno tena khore not pa kelches bishes six to mom michashis tamja chosan taring nepal mi not pa kel duale not pa makel zerdu not pa nge mikel zerpa tange six to bang mani mishat tani panlar six to mom mani mishat zerkanne tamja chosan chi song nge hale hole achele nomole zerte hale tizuk changkha hale tizuk mani man 지 저간조 때네 밭갓 만나 스페라 만나 츠무 tizuk 미샷체 다링니 팔만 데모 장가 샤든 두근 만나 지나 세미나 타직 마타지 신족부 데믹 샤데 두근 다니 팔라 삼때 담책 줘서나 디부 dom바즈르테 데나 쪽라이노 군마다 쿠사메트바 군망 미쿠삼때 dom백 줘서나 디 지릭데노 군마 쿠칸지 있나다 미쿠삼 고사노 갈때 스쿠스칸지만 만나 mana mitsiang mana kunma mana ku mishen yotropa tin du kunma maku chigen yinang domba de lam tang na gelano kunma miku samte dompek chustana jezena kunma kustana semchen jenla no pa chan semchen jenla no pa mijo chese tamche pia kunma miku chese pena music ta pena chiser cheno ta dang teri mobile zara yale music mobile choksia teni kalte skustana te midi mana cherdu wale khap chapdu wale 미텔 노빠 용도와 셈만아 찹데 기뻐 믿겐 자놓고 빠 그런 생인만은 닛 매용체 되네 빠 텔라 되네 차바놓고 당에 모바일 보다 또다 마딕 성관에 영화놓고 코노 껴놓고 되나 오셔스 군마 미쿠치 돈닥부터 오고 군마 쿠스다나 코가 코 노다 되노빠 미켈체세 피아놓고 되노당 노체놓고 세미나만 저렇게 용도와 되나 능신이 이놈더니 다 지두야 되네 참아미 주시스 참아미 주시 참아제나 하고 할래 지저노 yen 저런 직당 yen 독jes 도알레 직당 직라만이 툰 미죽ches 툰보 연나 툰 미죽체 아지 너무 툰 미죽체 아데네 지저세노 아조 노 툰 미죽ches 야 파마당 투부 툰 미죽ches 야 데네 나마당 막파 툰 미죽ches 피에 데네 바르란 상테 디스페란다멘데 망포직 샤든 독스데 데네 툰 미죽체식 베레기 용도알레 데라 참아자노 라스 피치자노 tukshing tanga te zerano te last bit tukshing zerting minu ba zerano zerano uzu espera dramida mitang che chundu chogo sano tibo tamchek chogo sano mitang zerte chundu chos nang digda no por tamcha menna domba malus no domba maus domba yon chese pia mane izu yen michoches chosena yen anzerdu chama anzerdu ba chama michoches 어때한테네 참았잖아. 되니 콩군 기쁨 있게 차려వాలి. 바 둥알 쳔모도 할래. 베나 초가시 때나 아숙지스잖아. 막바다 나만이게 발라랑 참보여네 기쁨이었게 봐. 참보 미용체세 비랑 발라 상태 스페라만 보시 땅나 콩니스 참보 마우나가도 콩니스만 낙산테 동안어 봐. 바 너빠 마 산테 깰때노 봐. 알레 콩니스만 참보 믿겐 좀 봐. 네 지동시 제르 두스바상 데니 콩니즈만에 참보 밑겐 송 콩니즈라 낙산테 도하노 미쩨만이 통미시스케네 낙산테 도하노 디부 노파오 수이켈테노스나 녜켈테노 디송바상 녜만 다 참아오 미초스 참아 마르도 좀 마시스나 참아 미초 다니팔 참아 미초스테 다짜도 고사노 하고알레 디군 미에 낙통칸네 낙통체시 라즈 만페 옅나 옅바 창마 mana rup mana micho chesiki tani sampashik mana kanimit gosano micho chesiki tamchek gosano da tamcha chogo she mekyak chezena tingi cho merpati dus jundu nge chama cho mana cho mishispa chama subalam cho nga cho sang met ata tamcha chogo she minukwa domba jugo she mekyak domba zerti chang goshe minu nge chama mana micho cheti chi kani chen sui parla chen duen samkan samda youtube tizu mano man michu choches man mokek met na ko chose na tamja choskan bo perna teni ngata zerma zersa dasa zerkan chogale dishes yodnang dishes man ale plate you can the plate mitken khatchok sik chalo plate yodna koti na chi na ya teni masala yoto gravy yoto chi yona gravy changma duano ba gyala juste duano changma juste duano a pema jigina luksana lam jigina peme lamdong jia phangstana 그나 그레비 단시 심베기나 정말 베메나 손데 잔년 체메 깍바 데나 쪽라 지 레장 부시 주스다나 고 이즈와 장 판마 똑간니 유스 대잠식 metken지 차노 제픽다 유튜브 대잠 metken차 오즈시 차노 송바상 루스키 고네 쇼크잡바 빵고사노 쇼크잡바 마진발렘바 도테 lokpariyemba dolokiyemba zerches 봉에 당사 jetok바 디페나 나마당 막베 바르라 창스테 막바 쿠스테 케르켄조 나마 쿠스테 케르켄조 우즈크초스당나 데니 양 노켈 마천모 차노 라라이 단식 제난다다 라스페 단식 제르두알레 노티니스 어때 라라이 총네 노티니스 손테노 라라이 총네 단식 손테노 인낭 라라이 총네 치송나송 케버민두바 미 총나 노켈 맘민다 뭐나 노 찬테켈테노 제제나 콩니스가 만나 kitpojuste mana ya family azue administration jondugale ti azue family na ma kitpojuste yotkapa ti kitpo mana rang mana di parla sonte tene nama kuste kerkanzo makpa kuste kerkanzo tizuk chosba tene pat khongkul mana nak sante mana minda nak sante tono da chendila nak disan che mani tongchis metropa tiwuten tong chuste ngata pa parla sanste so tel dolok yem zera nokpa dotte lokpar yem baserte uzuk choches metka izuk mane choches samba menang tiwo micho zerte tamcha chogosh puma khachan dolok yem zerte on dolok yem mardon dolok yem zerches po khaksum jiji yotyak midra te tainang khepar minduk cho cheshokte rai nama rai makpa nyampo madukpa jeni nama jeni makpa nyampo dukste tene kusti khetches chokste kerches tene yang yorgyuches te zunchete tene draminda choches te kun sama man marungs pano chezenen dibu nangpa sangyes pi chosna mantun kane spera nokzer kane ngatan zerano nangpa sangyes pi chosna tunchik matunchik dia nokpa nge samena nangpa sangyes pi chosna tunang da matun na kepar miduk dibu se magor semi mila no kel charwa minu diu samsa hale mil man no pa tesang lakpa man minu pale yejan thuksam sala hale nis barla nisi para rang jugs dele kapeste deni kusti kerches talks kerches zun dans de kerches ta tizu mampu chos ta naskap sigla ta zun dans de naskap sigla digana tartu konkuni nakshante toano pa ngata ishaste nge ishaste mi di choskan miti wo ishaste tisong basa nakmana shante tongches mi no kel ma chenmo chap chenmo chos basa ta tenna ishaste le ta dibu mana choses minug zet tonda zokbe sangyasang teni shokchet pa majimbal lemban dobe lokbar yemba zerte sumina sungte yuches pa semchen jenla no kel chachese pi micho na ge macho na gel choses mano molte songte no ale semchen jenla no kel chachese azu jikspa yut kan ishiste hakwa temani sangyase timjigi no zerte le jigi ta sangyase molpa sang ti tsi go sa no zerte mano ale chija ti thugl boraza ale nge same nang tizu samat sangyase kazir kan bo kani mertsi go sa no sangyase sungkan bu shaste tsi go sa no zerte nge samna ti khak chen muji mit kyak ale sangyase sungkan ne shaste le sangyas gautama sangyas shakyatuba khoi sungkan ne shaste ata tsi go sa no zerte thak chatang na dia mano sangyase yang sungte kya nge zirkan bo nyanjik manyanjik chejakuni tangbo tha sambatong chejakuni tangbo sambatong teni thakchate teni nyen gosna ngekha nyante teni chos nyen gosese tondak minuk ti jang tondak chik minuk samna manyen nang diok molte dual ngeni khela chilo te mano de song duale gelong takam khenam ge lekpar tagla ejza ngai lekpar tagla ngai ka langwar chai kuchir min molte du step su che sangyas chumdan de tizu molte kya tewo kanime ina khai zerte thakchatan che mano hale sangyas chumdan de molte nang rang su sambatang ste ibu chino sangyas chumdan de dopar lokpar yemste diga mano maim molto inang dopi lokpar yem ta chang to se minukpa dopi lokpar yem tang na chito ano sampek tang na tenin dopi lokpar yem na mila no kel tesang chewa metken bo sampatang na kulei tani yong ano kwa hakwa oti hako khane jaste tenin mana tingjuwa tenin ngata mani ta chi changma tenin dopi lokpar miem che tani nge thakcha tani phal miem dopi lokpar yem ches po micho samkani thakte teni chatpa thakchate khelen chuspa dombazir duale oti na tati khelen macho na chi ji kyazana ya nangmo ji dopi lokpar yem nang yem shichesino yem chesi mokek thopna yem shichesino o teni shok chesi mokek thopna 이 소강 get 시체시노 할래 목객 톱나 목가 마톱나 디옥 데 목가시 톱나 이데 속체 시체시노 할래 베나 마스키토지게 소지 땀나 그런 랑신니 락베마나 이죽 주스테 사탕도 할래 그 랑신니 이주아지 빠트 그런 빌라조아 할래 뎀발레 뮤직 쪽식만 미누바 딘낭네 낭백 쪽식이 루즈말루스 nangpegi na ta tibuta lakpe man yongche sang minupa sampek tangna ta tizu ri cho shicheno phurik tap shicheno ya man rik tangste phu miyongche se tunru si cho shicheno tenna kore ka satang che si sampa nangpa shi man yong goshis minupa sampek tangna nangpa chokshi yong mang duk minuk man mi chokshi man duk minuk bilek chokshi ale ta bilek na ni ko yongos ko tamane chi chama satano ko bilai na pa bilai inken jeste ko sadano ko mosquito ina menji kebar metya ko zebi sing gulkan ji na ko sadano de wo bilek ko na yang na ngata miji no mi nang ni nang pa no nang pe nang ni thakpa chembu sangye somdan de se thakpa chembu de ni sangye se azugi chose jinju hin zerte no tizul ne mosquito le patan le izuk chus kane pa ni hosh chen no ches mano sampek tang ai zu je na chot zerte ko 반 주면 만이 용코랑 맞추 봤더니 소답낭 맞답시기가 용두전에 됐다. 디숙다만이 찰도 갈래. 오 디숙카 디쿤카 미장보 메테 마노. 미장보 만테 마노. 미장보 이나 인지제노. 미보장보 유격. potential gala yotropa. 지 상마 gala 릭스 yotropa. 담자오 메케니. 켈렌보 메켄 부셔스 이숙주사노. 공이 켈렌장 미켜봐. semchen masat semchen sada met such as means yunchita 켈렌 주스테 yotropa. tibu metken bu셔스 다 됐다 사도 코소 개소 답도 코소 보고 세트 사탄 이 되니 금세낭 망보시체고 그가 소답나 가 말레리아나 치시노 가 시시체노 되니 직직세나 딩구이나 딩구이나 띠어나 시체노 코소 보고 되니 만에 되고 사탄나 갈저카네 스페라 용시체노 금센 망보 용시체노 Christianity chigyalekone Christianity tanda Yeshu zerdual Yeshu kone ozu te bote satang ko sano zerte te mana Yeshu azue ane chomo kone ta te kun satkan ne mana sache se chizu di machine zopo changma kurte dugduale lapta tang tene chi mengang tang te kun changme mosquito satkan ne machine changma chomo kuni kurte tene sat duale chezena mikun le yashet chogo shese kora chosina yodkak mosquito da semchen changma yashet chozer kanbo korai chosina meteno ba songbasang korang kunin dikteno korang kunin lam dikteno mikun le yashet ma mina chano yashet chostele dang tering imana hospital gelshok changma Yeshu hospital yongdual lapta ina gelshok changma Yeshu yongdual ti tugukun la yontan yongosano pene yongosano korang kuni tene mana misi gyala yongano yontan yongosano zerin chikdang tugukuni sikul gyala chikdual taksa darjeeling lapta ma gyala yutken changma mana rob mana azuno ko mangchewa Yeshu ino Christian ino pa Christian 송바상 코랑 군이 나에 망부 차실 정말 이 머스키토 리 용칸다 되네 지금 무직 플라이 리 용칸다 때군 정말 삿간 정말 조모삭 독세게 코랑 군이 조모삭 독세게 이 락과 지동시 찹 저때 주아 사는 독도알 티 코랑 군이 티 코랑 쳐시나 두고 있게 미군 밀라 예셔 주스카네 나타에 쳐시나 민다 지노잖아 아티 미군라 예셔 주스 마차때 심진 창마 예셔 주스 semchen chigla not pa makyal zerte kaba songbasang ta nangpa imkene phala jaste semchen changma yashet chochese pia tene not mikyal chese pia tene mana domba go sheno tamsik po shungosa domba o shungosa no domba o kerena tene kelan choches pono kalen chospasang te dikteno songbasang ta mosquito jilep na thapse chose metken chona cho chocheno karkung peste philo puches ya mana ka yang so mitap chese pia ikane azukshik duale apply chese ke chig yong du bale dang tering chilo good night oh yeah oh ta china ozu changma yang use shot yang mangpo chona ni askini pia gela mano zoru ba ta china tebe use shot ko pandu ba ozu choste dugna rang shongko sano rang shungkyop rang chogosis ma kachane di tomba jogbe sangye sang songti dual rang shungkyop rang chogosano rang teni taptok po rang chogosano teni songte rang la teni kyong tangosa mano songdual rang chizcheno rang la taptok chus rang lopen rang chogosano rang aba rang chogosano rang ama rang chogosano rang taptok rang chogosano monte minwa rang changma rang taptok chen didang chima changma taptok rang chogosano jenmi chus manok monte dual songbasang zachukchis manok oe zana de nga nangpa sangjes peno zachukna de shok zerte deni mosquito changma zachukna kani diaro de miong chese pia tapshi chogosano 탑시 주스테 지야 되니 지동식 죽체스 두아 야마나 양 카참참마 지동 자르데 용도와레 지동 자르당스 바상 용아미누 바 추텄 망보 판톡도 바 이세르부 코르코르지 용도 바 당테리 우즈고 탑시 주스테 탑시 담멘데 주스스 유트캡 당테리 뒤세가 미송바 나타 미노 바 빌라지나다 탑시 메케고 탑시 gelshok 보 사탄체스 바노 티보세스 바상 녜제스 바 나타 만 미쪽 둑미누스스 벤바 미쪽 둑민두 낭바 상계스 바쪽 둑민두 만 필렉 쪽시 야레 두로 이노 두로 만 탑착하시 이노 티 두로 쪽시 둑스테 마딕 바테 데 찹사탄체스 보창 갈릭 장디 직스포시 인마노 바 할레 송바상 아타 미지긴 켄네 팔라샤스테 인켄니샤스테 랭아타 삿 미사체스 티 미용체스 피아 티니 쫀주스 지직두 카르콩 페나 gel두아 카르콩 쭉나 gel두아 빵카땅나 gel두아 빵카팅 메드나 gel두아 야마나 지동시 죽나 gel두아 야마나 지동시 자르나 gel두아 지식조나 gel두 땡아다 탑시 쪼쳇게바 탑시 쪼고사노 디부 창마 셈제니 피에 락렌 게 상페나 차노 오죽 창마 때니 가다 세미나 보르텔레 쇼크쳇바 빵체스 데오 dombai 고사노 테네 쇼크쳇바 마진발렘바 군마 쿠체스 tibu miku chese pie dompek gosano tene dotpe lokpar chilo sokcheba majima dotpe lokpar miem chese pie dompek gosano ale tena tsokla tene chilo zun mishe chese pie dompek gosano chama mishe chese pie dompek gosano tene sikchup mishe chese sumu sik mishe chese pie dompek alang gosano dompek kanimet gosano ale domba tene ngakkel mishe chese pie tene dompek gosano ta ngakkel mingo korte ke pera mang potang duale tekun tene micho chese pie dompek gosano mingo korte mikuni dus chola puchese pie spera ndameda dans de duchese yonduale otibu chama ngakkel zano tondak mani metkene spera mang po dans de mi chama niente duchese so korang la pantok metkene tarung notkel chese pie chik tendre chik chagdang ke pera tene da meda dans de duchese tibu ngakkel zano tonme de spera mitang zerte thachat gosano ngakni nyespa kunji tawarte ngakni tunum kundu dambarcha moltemidwa suggestion dandese spera mang potang chespo ma simchen changma jenma pantok jeste pantok angwa borte mana notkel chano rang notkel chano tuzmang potrola tanste chutot mana jish nga tizu spera tanste dugduale dang teringa ta ton spera zirkani onduale ton sper mang potang chespo mana notkel chokshi chano tondak changmin ken milang notkel ranglang notkel sampek tangna tuzang trola ale kitpo juste nilok de dukjese mokang met ya kitpo juste jig mana songbong tanste jig pantok sig dupche na tang met ton met espera ton sper ramé de tanste chagdang ti gut de zugil tante ndasbuchi ji ono sana chagdang tene pa control tene jig pa jig tingma ji tene ngargel thaktok tene mana minda yo espera mangpotang chespo jumsen chenmo jig mekyak songte duale ngakni tunam kundu dambarcha molteminwa ngak tunam kundu dambarcha spera mangpo matang molteno spera mangpo tanste ston sper mangpo tans pasang teni ston sper justele mi mangpo thuk charwale o tizu yono da chikchup mano o teni thamang mano inang thama chokshi gyurano ti ston sper mangpo tang kan juste o teni chikchup mano inang chikchup chokshi gyurano ko mila not pa challenge tan jur chano tena chokla teni chizersheno zunang mano inchesta zun mano ngakel zerpa zun mano pa inang zun sang tua chano ko espera mang potang tang dupa teni tingma ji hashi ko sana nge zun mang potang sto he oho madik to samkan samcheno ko zun ma mang po ji khani thalano tangpota ko esperik to stong per to kipo ina ko tanga ta dug ya juk iga dug zerte kursi tutti yong dual kursi tutti ta dug tong zer pa kipo just mobile rig ngokste esperik tang pa chi dug zerte tangpo ji kipo to ga tingni pera tang dugna pere injupo zun mana ma mang po thalano zun mitang kanji konmo zun mana mang po thalano zun tang sosan zun tene yang not pa nokel riu chamshi chano tena chokla ti nangla chikchubang yongshi chesino ti nangla chamang yongshi cheno chamani kan met yongos yongshi cheno koi gyala menu koi chik zerduk meg zerduk zerti tene mana zao mangpo na pera mangpo zao zamo drambendi na pera ma mando zundang despa ma mangpo ik tang spasa mi changma thuk chano mi changma skitpo mit ken chano spera man mangpo ik tang stangpa kon jikten mana thuk chano songba sang spera stong sper po mana kani met miyong chese pier chunju chogo sa nongza hagwa chama mano chizero ngakkel zerduwa pechina ngakkel zeru tibo miyong chese pier chunju chogo sa nongza ngakkel ta chiru jun chama chikchu ngakkel ta napsem nosem lokta zer napsem zer kan bong ta diang yongda yongche inokpa ina diang miyong chese chunju stang teni domba lang stang na gyala nokpa napsem zerte pentok ni chang mi kyale ran no che jela no che tatuk jelang no dano net naskap ran no dano pena ran mitkeni mijiga chik pena mobile gyali yona ran mitken juna khotok shi yut pena khoi mobile chok shi yut pena he samkanji ode teni mana sem shorte sem pa akazukste dugduale te khotok shi yut pena khoi chok shi yut pena chi hele samkanji ya mana yang konchi ji na khoi konchi chok shi yut pena hele samkanji ya kwa chig yang ko zuxpo gyalegyona zuxpo ringbo jigna gyalegyona rang so zupu te tung ji mani medna yang zupu ringbo ji ken mi de la samta ko zupu zog ji yutena ko zux tok singa yutena hele samkwan ji yondu wale med pe chichen ti rang met pi chi te samte duk ti chang ma phan ba ina chang phan met ti sampano mi zupu ringbo samte sempa shorte control on de duk do ale ko to je pe na tik ma nga ma na met chi song song kan zo ale zupu chun ji mani met te tangbo ne skiwa malans pe chi chen ale ote inang tene ti napsem je ba ko chi ye na ko zo je pe na hele samte du te ye na hele samte duk na ta jok ba ti zu mana sho yong do ale ti nyam po sho yong do ale semina skipo ji yong mano hale ya miji inang dang tring do ale logic tang kan ji na ya chi mana chi beauty chi te zu ji contrast so ji pe na chi ji pe tu ji na chi na ti te zana te vi shi mithat kan ji minwa chik chape shi se tanmo ji takhan ina sem tik tanmo ta ina ba akha mana ya demo mongpo chano pucha demo kyak pomo demo kyak man ra chak po mongpo thongdu wale ina te bo thongdu samte sempa kitpo ji mino wale ta go kan ji sempa mikit kan ji sam kan ji hale chi sam kan ji te bi shi yongdu wale dembale de de semina yongkhak ko ma demo ji thong ano demo thong na sempa kitpo yongos pa kitpo yongse se pe sho yongano tepi shoji yono jijara hata ko metro pa ra takchat chostana hakwano tingna sho yondu aminu sho yono hale demo mamo botons bosan sho yono tizu nga miong chi nak sam kanji hale ti yono o tizu geste ga da sa sa miru na o tizu ta ya napsem zer kan bo kitpo yomano soso mane kitpo yomano tartuk jen konna kitpo yomano 돈닥 돈돌 두스당나 첸디당 치마 나스카 바르도 나스카 상말랑 디 노트gəlano napsemzer kan bu mana yongchu goshes medkak jen chigena tibu yongcha yona samkanti kyakla budna teni tibu samin duano dusjundu chijik thona tena choksamano khangpe gyonang khangpe na ta la sosi na shelkhang ji 60 na tibu samte oh nge khangpe khwat zuchi chik chak pa samkanji oizu shelkhang ji ta nge khangpe ha chik chak sam dati chik matub na ka to control yoano teni ti khangpe dun khora chaning doda mano chandu chik nyundu chi ti khangpai gyalik thongna tin dun de la chaning doda mano score te chachese mi mathong na gyalaro mi thongna sempa kitpo lusa mano sempa mikipchi minuk ba injo chana khora sote sakte no sonam sakte no ko sonam sakani na khora chi chi chospena a khangpa shinka shelkang sikte no khore sikste no chi te chutok mitkak ba te sho yonggoshi jumsen minuk ba sho yonggosano sho tingji yoano sing ji yoano te yongbasan kitpik man malusne te so kitpo metken choste no man khoi choste mano koran shelkang ji sikste no te men chang mik ngarang ngata rang chutok rang choste duspa dikte no pa rang chutok rang ma chutok mi chutok choste basan rang kitpo maluspa ozgo no song basan napsem po choste le ma kitpo yomano hakwa tibu song basan napsem micho so napsem macho napsem micho samtele damja domba ugosano hakwa 데니 케레나 노셈보 용고 사마노 노파 줄체세 삼파 디보다 용칸데 여트바 용하노 다 납셈기 제스테 노셈만 용하노 그 캄파찌 찌루 코마나 데페나 스팅징니 팔 페나 미지이낭 미 페나 자오낭랑 용시체노 자오 디즈마 gyala yonang tingni ko yang 자오 ngesang gyalik yodna nga 자오 jiut pinban 자오 te ngesang mana zuxpo ringa ngesang mana skat nyenpa hale ngesang mana pachi changma mana gyala hale yontanang chaka ene chi changma inang ko nga ni 자오 yin pinba zerkan yongdu hale 자오 yin pinba zenang ko nima chi ko accident song te shito zena kitpek chokshi yongda semina tik song samkanchi 요하노 뎀바 디부 지자 제라 메트로바마니 세미나 용시체노 오호 zirkan tsukchus oho tiu man pebo kongan zawo yin pin bazena seminana zawoji ko mana chakdokshi yoteno pa ko mana chi changma yale ko zuspo ko ngasang ring ko tene girlfriend ngasang ko ma toano jezena ko mana chi changmena pat mana azuk chano le ko mana minde yutkak dena ojastele ko mana gyuchen mono jendang minda gyuchen mono chi samaya de lujik tang na ko skat man mindai ngejik tang kan chen pang man nge kat pa chi ka song sa ka ru na cha mi wa le song ba sang dus gyun do ngen zawo da yin bin ba yin ko man chi ze se no competition so si yoden du no ta ni ma chi accident just shi to zan ho zer kan just seminar tik song sa wa no tik song ko mit ken song ba sam kan yong shi cha ro o ti bu chi no zan no sem yo 당포 납셈 비자스데 노셈 두다노 노셈 부 티티오노 하고알 납셈 부자스데 노셈 요노 베르낭에 저스파 베르나 미지나 실캉 식스데 캉바 마데믹 식스데요나 티부 삼스데 셈 쇼르티 두파 셈 포마나 쇼르티 두파 니마치 텐나 오자스데 티 실캉 오 식스나 메 식스나 틱송 삼다나와 당안이 식마투 실캉 식마투데 이난 코이 실캉 실캉 네 식마투파 코 식딕 삼다 할레 코미에 식바 딕바 삼칸지 카이타 제라 메트로파 야레 제나 ngorse 첼체노 제세모노 세민 딩니 딱쳇죠상 딱쳇죠나 하코사노 딱쳇죠나 하코사노 데세미나 용시체노 수수지 할레 마 전모지 메나 세미나 감상 송상칸지 용시체노 디부 가네 용사노 용고시 지직자스 용사노잖아 디부 납셈미제스텔 노셈 투테오노 노피셈포 투테오노 오티즈고샤스텔레 장라 마나 집살 저스트 삼바타나 마타 daksa 삼페나 세미나한다 민다 용하노 디부 필로와 샤체 갸윳 미샤체 똥윳 세미나 필로와 샷 촉체스 윳 샷 미촉체스 윳 샷나 찰체스 윳 샷나 미샷 미년체 람 룩술 티미나 마네 미용체 디즈 망보 윳 세미나 민다 윳 디군 창마 나타 탁바 첨부 장줍 셈비 탁베나 디군 창마 답독 주스데 데네 미조체세 랑랑소스 세미나 담체 간메 고셰시노 아과 어티부 고셰스마 카자이노 데 당보 납셈포 용타 데네 납셈 포텔라노 데네 창메상 투어보 록타노 록테상 투어마니 멧몰테노 록타오 용고셰스마노 록타제나 라마 상갸스 마노그저 칸조 할레 상게스 초스 겐둔 zirkan man mardoni mekyak zirkan zo o tene gewa zangpo gewa zirkan ji semjen jenla pantok jona ra pantoa no zerdu de uman mano takchet zirkan zo zo lokta zirano semjenla pantok de ji panen semjenla pantok goshi jang mekyak zirkan zo o tene ji zirano o notpa mekel zerdu wale chosena notpa mekel zerdu zunina notpa mikel te kazu duano notpa kel gosano notpa ta makel pakani duano ti zun dans dano ta konkuni chosina te zun daminda shatano he zirkan zoshi mana yichiz mana michos kanji te lokta zaro o te sangyes chos gandun mitkyak zara zo se chima kani yoden mi changma sheno shiti ko te tarano shi sarpa ting sarte jang mitkyak se chima zirkan yudkyak zaru zuni nak zirkan zo se ngama yudkyak zaru ngama kani on su toano 수지기 통마시스게 에스페라 준니 나서칸소 우즈르도알레 제치망 수지기 통하만오지 여격서탄스데노 카르 여격 단단 수지에 샤체메게 준니 나서칸소 우즈르도알레 어때 참마 록타즈라노 록타할레 daksa kitpo tene daksa gyu yutkan tene pene yutkan yam tene puza pomo yutkan khangpa yutkan saji yutkan ming yutkan tam yutkan ma geladu tikun changma hanme tene soname choksa gyab yinok zerdu zerwale di zerdu zerpa chizer di last joskan ishaston stano korstundju joste chong joskan ishaston stano tene chi tene thatugu ne khoran tene nama yutkan ishaste thatugul dante stano chi khoran chi changma tene rai joste no ne chechima chi chengama chi sonam sakani no zerkan zunina meteno sonam sak zerkan ang metkak chi ko zunjang khatang stano zerkan yongdwal o tekun changma lokta azano desang tuajing mana meteno dizuk shatkan ji yona da desang tuaji desang tenis sode kamba desang tua desang styomo desang mana tashaljik mana meteno da da nang pai kerena songbason changme semina ta lucy migewa sum ngak migewa ji iki migewa sum zerte oti migechu zerkan bo migechu po tholo shak zerte menwa migechu zerkan bo dane penla mijoche damja dombaji lastele te dugushis po makhasan ata domdenzen gelong yena gelong domdenzen getsul yena getsul domden genyen yena genyen domden ata changma yena kimba domdenzen kimbare kimba yena kimba domdenzen dombadang maldan khanji kimba te madik deno 정보 맞을 때 무슬만 지인도 크리스찬 지인도 야마나 힌두 바시 인도 야 시나 참마 domba tentik dupale korankonne dompe yotik duwale domba masungna jishi masungkana yotropa ina dompe shatte dupa domba sungkana mangbo dupa ngata last pe jinanda nangpe mana naina tini mana jamdan bu nangpe mangche jurwale domba mani misungkan Domba yota yokya nangpa sangyes pel daksa shet kan tsono domba chu di kan me diong sa nokwa domba chu shok mi chet zirsa ne lokta mi chu zir kan sakpa tene migi wa chu di domba zir tibu yota nokwa tibu shungkan sudu kun mu duwale sha pena sha kere na nangpa sangyes pi sha mana sharik namba na sopam zoskanji mane mizoskanji dang tering tisika tsepiksi nyankan ngai kha nyankan lama changme jalla nyante intro peneta pesha chok tsepiksi skando teni nyankan chokshi ta mizakan yochka mane ngamaina sha mizakanji nang pe nang mane malusindro tena chokla chang mitung kanji luste metro shang teni sha sharik namba na sopa yukya paksha jasha langsha maisha pasha teni rasha luksha nyasha buisha chi sangma za no ba ole tu song ba sa ta le tamchi domba nga ta metik tu ale tu we just ta ma taps kyo mo ji tu tu song ba sa de bi si domba u shung go sa no zer kan ta te ha kwa ta yang la dak spa kun la de cham shi yin tu pa mane yang kong kun la chugel kun la sha la minuk sam de yang sho yong to ale chiang sha la minuk ta de chi zera tu sam yang kong kun sho yong ale Korangkuni rewaik choksila ta den jiksebik shiksha den samte rewek choste sa thak ringmone pat kharcha ta chama chi sangma tang thak ring ni yongsa teni yang mashat na lo phambu chano de pare ale ina cheja kunla nge ning thakpa na juste ni ja changma last pa indro last skat tang pasang tibu karja pa kunna koti yutro ko to samara tena chokla teni azukbe kinoriba nisumri duk tene te kunlang kosi intro tene potpada metyak awada tenga ta Drukpa kunang kotik duale di ngata la spikat po sepik sik hot parik tangna nge la spikat tezam sik tampo sik matang spa tene changme kotik duale sombasang kona tene sepik sik nge ning thakpa na mana jima mitkan ne cheja kunlang phanna samte siksum sik zerteno cheja kunang sepik sik seminar yurjek lepchuk na tene phantok chano 다리 이카용스데 tene japtan tene tanjuk le jalpin zir kanang yut kya khakchik mana tadmo ta chet zir kanang yut kya ya khakchik tene mana volunteer so japtok je chet tanga ta chi YDA na plan in also tene pep kanang yut kya tene khachik ni birthday celebration in zar in chik tang tene thungskar mana stiskar tene azu gaston na yon zir kanang yut kya an khachik ni chang mesam khane chi nga jing jalna sam khan tizurang yut kya khachik ni nga masam ba thuksar mbuchin jalna skepjer mbuchin jalna sam kana yut kya tan ram minda yut kya ba yunang ram menang ika pepsten phalla seminar zebi gyurjek yongstele shotpe na gyurjek yongse teni tingni loks de chachana laos pa loks de ladak pa tena lada teni yang tena chokla kinor teni tena chokla garsha pa garsha teni Drukpa teni mana chi rang so lungpa loks de chachana teni zebi shi seminar gyurjek tang shotpe na gyurjek kurti khache na gyal chi duale songba sang taring ge chotpa teni migi chu zerkan bo teni ngata teni notpa mikel ches tang teni phantok chu chesi nangwa migi chu zerkan bo teni pang teni gewa chu zerkan bo dub goses ti teni chizir chen no chok bo tezuk shik shapte ta tezuk shik dik songa now what I've been expressing about was the importance to keep the vow. The vow and the commitment is very, very important, because if you don't have a commitment, even though we are a pretty good person, we are a pretty good person in the sense of moralities, etc., etc. You know, for example, you may not be you're not really taking a lot of, you're not that fond of meat, you're not that fond of scolding at the people, you're not that fond of talking and gossiping, and also you're not very fond of committing any kind of misbehaving thing. So you are overall, I think you are quite a good person anyway, basically. But that is not good enough. As a Buddhist follower, you must have a vow. That was the topic that I was talking to the Ladakhis and local Bhutanese and all these the visitors. I was talking about this, how important to have a vow. That's very important. And the vow, there's, in a very much like a nutshell, you have only two things that you have to think about. You have to be very cautious about. One is not to harm anybody. That is the first thing. And then the second thing is, you have to try to help. Try to help everybody. So these two. So that the first thing was not to harm anybody. That is a commitment for the Hinayana practice. I mean, I think you guys have heard this many times anyway. So that was the commitment for the Hinayana practice, and the other one, helping, supporting and helping people, helping others, not only people but helping others, is the principal practice of the Mahayana tradition, bodhicitta practice. So these two are very much the key point. This is what I was expressing, I was talking about. So that is very, very important. Once you guys are over here, and you guys claiming yourself as a Buddhist, you guys understanding yourself as a practitioner of the Buddhist. So if you are really practicing the Buddhist actually is not a tradition, is not a culture, is not a religion. It is something about the understanding, the philosophy. So this is the reason why we are always need to really understand what's all about. You cannot just say, oh, we are Buddhist, so we are doing something, then that's it. You just do it. But the real understanding, the really basic, noble understanding is, what is the suffer? The suffering. That is very important. Because in order not to harm anybody, first you have to know how the harmfulnesses, how does it work? What is really the suffering? So that is what the first noble of the four noble truths. The first one is the suffering. You have to understand about the suffering. That is the truth. So Buddha Shakyamuni has given also explanation of what is the suffering and how did it happen? How does that happen? So that is very, very important topic for us to understand. What is the suffering? So suffering, there are many different types of suffering anyway. And but basically the suffering is the part of the suffering is caused by others. I can cause you type of suffering. I can cause you suffering. But that is a part of suffering. And then the main suffering, the main body, main core of the suffering is definitely caused by yourself. Your misunderstanding, your kind of misbehavior, and your negative karma that you have created by yourself. So there is a kind of a two type of suffering, if I may say. So the part of suffering that can be caused by a person like me, for you. So me as a practitioner, I should not be committing that. I should not be causing you any more the suffering. So me as a practitioner, I should really have a vow not to do that part. But you will be suffering the part of your suffering that you have created by yourself. What can I do? I can't do anything. You have to suffer that. There's no way to get out of it for the time being, unfortunately. But the part of the suffering that I may be causing you, that I have to stop. That I have to tell myself and commit, as a commitment of my practice, I should stop that. That is the vow. That is promise. And that has to be really strongly established. That itself is we call it vow. We call it commitment. that commitment can be like a gone up to the like a commitment of the Vajrayana, commitment of the bhikchunis, etc., etc., etc. There are many commitments, but actual fact, you have to commit yourself not to harm anybody. But when you speak about the harming anybody, not harming anybody or whatever harmful deeds, you have to know what are the deeds or what are the sort of things that that you can do and cause the suffering for the people, for the beings. That you have to understand. So as I said right now, you have a two thing. One is that the principal thing. The first principal thing is that you will be having your own cause and your own sort of creation. So that's something that we cannot do. I cannot do anything, for example. You have to take care of that. But the part of your suffering that caused by me, my wrong deeds. For example, I can scold at you. I can kill you. I can beat you up. I can cheat you, and I can, I don't know, whatever, I can lie you. And that's also one of the things I said, I can even go between you and your wife, or go between you and your husband. And I take your wife away. I take your husband away. And that means I'm cheating one of you, or the both of you. So that I can do that. So these kind of commitment, we call it wrong deeds or whatever, negative deeds. So these are the things that I may be able to do that. And me as a practitioner, I have to stop doing this. And not only that, you can sometimes say that, oh, I have never done that. I have no mind and no motivation at all to do this. So why should I be taking vows? Why should I be saying I'm not going to do that? I don't have to say that, because I will never do it. I will never steal somebody's wife. I will never steal somebody's husband. I will never do these things. So why should I be taking vows? Why should I be taking the commitment? Nothing. No. As a practitioner of the Buddhist tradition, or Buddhist the Vajrayana or the Vajrayana or the Mahayana or the Hinayana, you must take a vow. The vow is needed. That is the reason why maybe when many of you have heard, I was talking about the dishes, Italian dishes, Chinese dishes, and all these things. That's the reason. For example, I was just telling them just a while ago, if you have a very nice dishes, Italian dishes, Japanese dishes, Chinese dishes, and all these things, you must provide a good plate, a good place to place on. The dishes needs to be very clean and very decorative and very nice, so that people will enjoy, and you can sell it, and you can make money out of it, or you can have it, you can enjoy it. But if you don't have a dishes to put on, and the dishes, the foods, the delicious food and delicious little types of dishes, but then it is put on the middle of the road. not to involve in negative activities, negative deeds, any kind of negative deed. But when we talk about negative deeds, what is negative deeds? That's the question again. What is the negative deeds? You may be saying that is negative deeds, but I may be looking at this. This is not a negative deed. This is a pretty good deeds, positive deeds. So there's an argument. But instead of arguing it, one has to understand the truth of negativities, truth of harmful activities. Harmful activities is the negative. Anything that is harmful to anybody, that is negative. Anything that is harmful. And that can be harmful not only just a temporary harmful, but for the long term. And not only just for long term, but temporary. Both we have to be considerate. We have to really be cautious about. So therefore, harmful deeds is considered to be negative deeds. Harmful deeds. Anything. Yeah? So therefore, for example, drinking alcohol is not good. We always say that. And why? Why is it not good? Why is it negative? It's a drink. It's a lovely drink. It's nothing. It's expensive, yes, but nothing wrong. It's a drink, But you have to look at it in kind of a what do you call the consequences. The consequences of the drinking will kill you. And not only that, it will cause the problems in the society, in the family. It'll cause the problem in your family. You will be drinking and scolding at your wife. You will be drinking and scold at your husband, your children. And you will be drinking and you will not do anything, you'll sleep. And you will not do anything. So that sort of things. So drinking causes a lot of problems, a lot of trouble. So therefore drinking is considered as a negative deed. Because it harms. It harms your family, it harms your neighbor, it harms your parents, it harms your children, it harms yourself. Your liver will be burned. So that is the reason why drinking considered as a negative deed. And same thing with eating meat, non-veg. So if you eat meat, also it is very harmful directly to the animal that you are going to be slaughtered, that you slaughtered, or somebody slaughtered for you. That animal, it caused such a how do you say, tragedy. It's such a tragedy for that animal. I mean, that you can understand. That animal wasn't dying easily and enjoyably. That animal was killed, tortured, and that animal really had such a hard time for you. And you eat. So you are the consumer. So therefore, as long as there is a consumer, there should be a businessman. There should be a business people who's providing this for you. So then this animal lost its life for you. So you caused this tragedy to that poor animal. So that is very negative deed. So eating meat is considered to be very negative deed. That is the reason why you have to be vegetarian. That was the reason why you have to, because you are causing negative deeds. You are doing negative. You are committing the negative deeds and causing harm to somebody else. Not only just a harm, tragedy, scandal. It is really like a extravagant harm. Actually, it's a very, very, very harmful, It's just unbelievable. Because that animal was big time tortured. So therefore, we as a practitioner, we have to be vegetarian for that reason. Obviously, scientifically speaking, Also, they say that if you eat meat, you are eating the emotions of that person, that animal. So therefore you are turning, sooner or later, you are turning yourself into that animal, into that being. Maybe not figure-wise, the physical figure-wise, but mentally, you are going to be that, like a photocopy or Xerox of that person, that being. Therefore, scientifically they say that whatever, or what kind of, any kind of animal that if you have to kill and torture them with what do you call that? Yeah, with how do you say, dramatic and harmful. The dramatic and for example, like animals, when you kill the animal, that animal is crying. Many animal, they cries. Many animal, they scream. Pig is the worst thing. They scream like nobody's business. And they scream for their life, actually. They're asking for help like nobody's business. They're asking for help. Who is there to help them? No one. So it is not only just a torturing, but hopeless. So it is very, very, very emotional for that pig. Very emotional. And that pig is going to be dying with full of emotion. It's like the top notch of the emotion. They will reach to that level, the highest emotional level of wherever they can go in their life. The biggest, the anger, the anxious, the scared, the fear, the hope. It's just unbelievable. So with that kind of emotion, then the poor pig is dying. And that will be, scientifically speaking, I'm not a scientist, so I don't know. But they say, not only just a few scientists, but all the master of the scientists, they all found out. I have read in a very good books, many of the good books, they say. So that the emotion, all the emotions, the energy of the emotions, anger, hope, fear, all these restless and all these terrible things, goes into the blood, into the system, into the meat and everywhere. So when this pig, the meat of that pig, the pork comes into this shop and decorates very nicely and sell it, and people will be enjoying, like happily they buy that and eat. What is really happening is that when you eat it, you are becoming, how do you say? You're becoming very, very emotional. Like the emotions that poor pig went through when he was slaughtered. So that system or energy or whatever is very much, synchronized and went deep down into the meat and the blood. So whenever we eat that, we will be having, when we will be having, slowly by slowly, we will be very emotional. We'll be very scared. We will be very tensed. And we will be having a lot of stress without any big reason. We will be always stressed. We will be always afraid, scared. Very scared to sleep alone. very scared if somewhere, if you hear some kind of a noise, tick, something like that, it will be so afraid. No reason, you will be jumping. No reason. Because that pig was tortured like nobody's business. That is the reason that poor pig died with that sort of emotion, highest level of the emotion. Fear and stress and anger and all these. Therefore, whoever eats that meat, that person bound to be like that moment of the slaughter. Definitely, it's bound to be. Because of the meat that carries the emotional state of the mind of that poor pig. So therefore, we all, even though we wanted to be relaxed, we want to be enjoying, we want to relax and, we want to be having as a Buddhist, then we want to meditate and we want to be nice, and we want to have a good time. But we'll never be able to succeed because of the meat. So therefore, if it is possible, the best thing is, of course, you have to be purely vegetarian. But if not, then you have to find the meat that it was not slaughtered. Those old days when I was very small, we used to eat those animals. I was also non-veg, of course, for many years. Till teenager. I don't know. Maybe till 17 or 19. I was very heavy meat eater. Not only just eating meat, but I was very heavy. One of the heaviest meat eater, I think. So I can't have breakfast without sausage. I cannot. The whole breakfast is no use without sausage. I have to have a sausage. Not only just one sausage, 2, 3 sausages always need to be there. I cannot survive. And also the lunch is momo, meat momo. Not only just a few pieces of meat momo, 80 pieces of meat momo, Yeah, I'm not exaggerating. It is true. That's the reason I had a liver cancer. And I had a big problem, I had a liver cancer. I had a liver, whatever that is, hepatitis, not only hepatitis B, but I had a hepatitis C, but now gone because of the medicine, Tibetan medicine, So we have a pretty good medicine system. So anyway, I'm having this. I had a liver problem and all these problems. Why? Because of my wrong deeds, my negative deeds. I don't know why, but I was having this. I was enjoying big time, and I was not knowing what is happening back there, in the slaughter yard, with the animals. I have never. It's totally ignorant. I was very ignorant. So I was having momo in the lunchtime, and I was having the beef sausages in the nighttime. So I can't have dishes that it's a vegetarian. I don't know. I was like that. But then I saw an animal that is going to be slaughtered, and I was also looking at them and crying, and and I said, okay, enough is enough. So then I think when I was 17 years old, then I stopped. Anyway, that's not the point that I'm talking about. But here, what I'm trying to say is that, we were then when I was young, there are some yogis, medical reasons, they have to have a little bit of meat. But they are always looking for those meat that has come from the animal which was not slaughtered. They are dead. They died because of casualty. And we will find many animals. So they are less effective in terms of making you emotional, making you negative, into negative. So this is also something that we can consider if you cannot really be pure vegetarian. But obviously, very much recommendable very much recommendable to be vegetarian straight away. It's not a there's not a very difficult thing to do anyway. So, for example, I become a vegetarian just within a second. I just become a vegetarian. Until now, my health is getting better. Everything is getting better. So it's like that. So anyway, what I'm saying is that the deeds has to be the promised. You have to have a promise, a sense of promise not to do that. Sense of promise not to eat meat, for example. Or some people often say that I'm not eating meat. I'm not fond of eating meat anyway. Do you have a promise? Do you have a vow or not? No. I didn't take any vow. I didn't have any sort of a sense of commitment or anything. I'm ready to eat anyway. That actually means I'm ready to eat meat whenever it is needed to be. I'm ready. I'm prepared. So this actually it's actually is a naughtiness. It's not very nice. So you have to have a promise. So that then that will be like then the Dharma practice. That will be the real spiritual practice. That will have a full support to your spiritual growth or spiritual strength. It will be fully supported. So that is the reason why it has to be supported by your vow. Every deed needs to be supported by your vow. The vow doesn't mean that you have to be a monk. Vow doesn't mean that you have to be a nun. Or vow doesn't mean that you have to be a semi-nun or semi-monks. No, you don't need to. You just can be as a lay. You can be continuously doing whatever you are doing it in the family affairs, in the lay affairs, in the business affairs, whatever you're doing it. You just can do it continuously. But yet you can have a vow. The vow is a beautiful thing that successively you will be able to turn yourself into a good person. Successively. Successfully. Very successful. It may take a little bit of time, or it may not. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But despite of taking time or not, it really is going to be every day, whatever you do with vow, that'll be bonus. That'll be credit. But anything that you do without vow, it may not have a credit. It may not have anything. It is like what I said. A lovely dishes you have, but you have just put on the street, middle of the dust, so that the dishes are not used. It's very much polluted or contaminated, so it's not going to be used. So similarly, that the beautiful act you must be having. You will be practicing generosity, you will be giving away a lot of money to charities. You will be giving away a lot of money to those poor people, to those hospitals and all these things, and you will be you'll be offering a lot of butter lambs, and you'll be doing prostrations. You'll be doing kora, like a circumambulance, the 100 times or 13 times circumambulation around the swayambus and all these things. We always do that. But that sort of things, yes, you may be doing very nice, but you have no promise. So you have to have a promise that I may be doing this. Whenever I come to Nepal, I will do 13 koras in the Swayambhu. Vow. I take vow. So you took vow, so now you do it. You do the 13 koras. It will be fully developed, fully developed in terms of strength of the spiritual, that really success, that will make you successfully develop, successfully confirm, firm. So that is very important. The vow is a very, very important. So that's not only just a Korah, but the many of my students are vegetarian. Very good. I appreciate it, and I'm very, very proud of myself also to be able to sort of indirectly make all of you vegetarian. I am very proud of myself. But at the same time, I was also wondering and also wishing that if you can, take the vow not to take meat. Maybe not really for whole life. Maybe you can take it for 3-4 years, or maybe 10 years. You can do it like that also. It doesn't matter. But as long as you have a vow, your strength of the spiritual development will definitely be high up there and successfully achieved. And that will be fully used, because it really is, the support is there entirely. The length doesn't matter. You can have it for length of the death, like a whole life, or you can have it 10 years, or you can have it 7 years, you can have it 1 year, you can have it even 1 week. Doesn't matter. Big choosers are also like that, In the Thai, I don't know in other country, but Thailand, the monks, they do 1 month monk, they do 7 months monk, and they do like a 10 years monk. And then they disrobe. And then they go back to the family and they do business. Most of the Thai people, they all become monk once, I think. So that they can do that. They can take that vow like a periodical, very periodical. So it's just a short period they take. So it's a similar kind of thing. We can also vow ourselves something like that. Not necessarily for whole life. And not only just for vegetarian, but also like not to drink any intoxicant drink, like alcohol drink. Oh no, I'm not going to drink. For example, there are many people who are not drinking, but then you don't have a vow. So sometimes that is very much like I wouldn't say wasted, but it is going to be like exactly what I said. The very beautiful dishes that you're putting into the middle of the street. So and you are hoping that somebody will enjoy. I don't know, anybody will enjoy, because maybe the dogs will enjoy. Some animals will come, but human beings cannot. So that is the thing. So you have to have a vow to give yourself support. So therefore, it needs to be. You have to understand the 10 deeds. The first 3 deeds that is connected with the body, and the second, the 4 deeds that is connected with the speech, and then the third 3 deeds that is connected with the mind. So these 10 deeds, that needs to be transformed into a better deeds, like good deeds, positive deeds, and the avoid doing the negative deeds, negative 10 deeds. So that's the thing. So avoid negative 10 deeds, negative 10 deeds. The Buddha said it's a negative 10 deeds, but negative and positive. Once again, let me repeat again. What is the negativity we are talking right now? Negativity, what we are really talking about is to harm anybody, to harm others. That is the negative. In nutshell, that is the negative. It's anything that is harmful for others and harmful for you. Maybe, both. Maybe, whatever. Anything that is harmful for others is not good, is considered to be negative. Anything that is helpful, helpful and supportive, it's good. That is considered to be positive. Even though it appears to be a negative, but it is positive. It is very much positive. Sometimes it can be appears as a negative, but it's very much positive because it is very much helpful. You know. For example, injection. Injection. The needle is looks very negative. You know, it's a pokey, and when I don't like when doctor comes with the injection. I don't like it. You know, I don't like even to look at the injection. I'm always looking to a roof and talking with some friends. I know that she's coming with a needle. So, you know, needle is something I don't like it. I can't just say, yeah, she's coming with a needle. Oh, choop. I don't like it, you know. So I will turn my face the other way. And I'm talking, pretend that I don't know, I don't see. But of course I know. So this is a negative. The needle is a very negative to look at it, and also it's a very negative when it comes. Oh, ouch! You know, it's a very painful. But whatever the consequences of that needle putting in makes some positive. It'll help me, my fever going down, or I don't know, whatever. It'll help me. So that means it appears to be negative, but it is positive because it helps me. That is the thing. Whatever it helps to others, that is considered to be positive. Whatever it harms for anybody or any others, that is considered to be negative. So that is very important. You have to understand. So people think, like people who are meat eaters, they're very fond of meat eating. Then they say, "Oh yeah, you have to eat. That is you know, they have to. Anyway, the meat is in the market, available. So you eat it or not doesn't matter. The meat is there." That is bullshitting. You know, it's a very sort of like a sarcastic, I would say. I think it is not a good point. You know, if we all start not to eat meat, it will be, we all means like I don't know how many millions or billions of people in the world. If we all human being, all the human beings starts not to having any meat, the climate change and the global warming and all these big problems, the 85% of this global warming and climate change will be solved automatically. So it's a very good practice for the environmental issue also. Very, very important. Environmentally also it is very, very important not to be eating meat. Very important. And that actually means how many people, how many beings are saved, is going to be saved. How many people or how many beings will be enjoying living in this world without any tragedies, almost any. So therefore we all have to understand what is the kind of circumstances or kind of consequences what we are really trying and we are really creating. We are creating something very negative environment, very dangerous environment because of our deeds, because of our negative deeds, harmful deeds. That is a harmful deeds. So therefore we all have to understand and how we all have to be appreciating what the Lord Buddha said. Many, many thousand years ago, let's say 2,000 years ago, you know, the Buddha Shakyamuni said it, and then many people practice it, but most of the people, they don't listen. They didn't manage to put themselves into practices of a vegetarian, to be vegetarian, to be toxicant drinker, and that sort of things. So therefore, now the world is getting sort of more dangerous. The weather is more dangerous, you know, and So a lot of problems, I mean, anyway, I don't have to say that, but most of the problems are caused by ourselves. Natural disasters, natural disasters are there, but the natural disasters are not natural disasters. It is man-made disasters. We made it. So we, as a practitioner, at least handful of people of a practitioner, we should really be practicing according to the Buddhist tradition. We have to be cautious about harmful activities. We have to be proud about our helpful deeds. So therefore it is like a loving deeds, kind deeds and all these things to help, to the generosities and all these things. So the practice of generosity is now the first thing I told to the Ladakhis. The generosity, the practice of generosity is the one. Buddha Shakyamuni said, one of the most important practice is the generosity. And then the second most important is to save people's life, save animals' life, all the lives of other beings. That is these two are the main practice. The Buddha said in a very big sutra, so-called Serwit, the golden, golden light. The golden light, the sutra, golden light sutra. He said it very clearly. If one needs to live happily, live successfully, live long life, what you have to do is, first, save others' life. Second, practice generosity. That's all. These two are the things that you have to do it. So we as a practitioner, we need to follow that sort of things. And not only just to follow blindly, but you have to understand why is it so that the Buddha Shakyamuni said that way. Because if you give a life to others, in other words, if you save lives of others, what you have as a result, there's a cause and effect, as a cause and effect, you will have a long life, no doubt about it. If you want. But even if you don't want a long life, but you want definitely have a happy life. And the happy life will also be gained there because you are saving others. That's the happiest thing that it's ever can be happened with that animal, with that being. That's the happiest thing that they can even think about, to save their life. Just imagine, just simply imagine. Happiest thing. So you are giving this person, this being, the happiest moment to this being. So as a result, you are bound to have a happiest life. That is the result. That is a circle of what you call that law of the nature. So therefore you have to do that. That is very much not only just Buddha Shakyamuni said so, but we as a human being also, we should really use your intelligence, your own knowledge, that how it works. It works that way. You're giving the best life to him or to her or to this animal. So as a result, because he's the happiest, he become a happiest person. She become a happiest person. This dog become a happiest dog, and this sheep is is a happiest moment that for that sheep and for that fish and for that bird and all these things, because you didn't let that person to kill them. So as a result, there's no doubt about it. The result will be the happiest life for yourself. And also the generosity comes that way, same thing. You are practicing generosity. That is like a big, the biggest way of practicing Buddhist tradition. Many people ask monastery to pray for their long life, for their successful business. And many people, they're requesting me also to pray for their whatever, this thing, that thing. Yes, that's also one thing that you can do. But the most essential thing, what you can do is, you should do these two things, save lives of others, and then the second thing is practice generosity. That's all. And how big you can be generous about is fully depends on you. How rich you are, how do you say, how generous you are. That is fully depends upon the individual. So that is not something that we can talk about or I can talk about for you. But anyway, you have to practice generosity. That is very important. So practice of generosity is to, the best thing to do to dispel your obstacles for your business, to dispel the obstacles for your life, like sicknesses and all these things. Your life will be long and happy, all these things. Generosity is very important to practice. And so therefore generosity, the practice of generosity really has both the principle, both the principle of the Lord Buddha's teaching. One is not harming anybody, and the other one is help others. So these two explains, generosity explains or introduces you to these two principles. There's no doubt about it. So then that's it. So this is what I was more or less talking about in Ladakis. So I was also sort of like translating this into English. And the translators up there, they're trying their best to translate into your language. And so I sincerely hope and wishes and also trust that we all will be able to practice genuine Buddhist tradition. Means not necessarily a Buddhist tradition. Just don't say Buddhist. Just say genuine spiritual practice. Spiritual practice means two things. Not harm anybody. From now, I don't want to harm anybody. From now, I want to help. That's all. I don't know whether you can successfully doing it or not, but you have to have a vow. That kind of vow will take you to all the way to the enlightenment. If there's no vow, it's like a nice car without engine. Very nice car, very expensive car, good-looking car, but no engine. Or maybe there's a broken engine. So it will not take to New Delhi. It will not take to Shanghai. It will not take to America. It will not, because the engine is not good. It will even not to take to the town also, because the engine is not good. So that's similarly that, you may be doing such a beautiful deeds, but you don't have a vow. So that's like a no engine or a broken engine. So it may not be taking you to all the way to the enlightenment. Very difficult. I wouldn't say no, but difficult, very difficult. Almost no. So therefore, with vow, you have to really be beautifully practicing it. I know that you will be able to do it, because all of you, I have a trust in you, especially the Westerners and Easterners, the foreigners are very good, People who are coming from the foreign countries, I have a trust that really into these kind of practices, more than I have trust in monks and nuns. Really, because the nuns and monks sometimes, maybe I shouldn't be saying this in front of them, but luckily they're not here. So anyway, half of them are just there, listening, but not practicing it. They can't. I don't know, for some reason they just don't practice. But the outcomer, like the foreigners, they really do it. I really trust in you in that case. They do it. Therefore, now, of course, nowadays monks are also getting better. Nuns are also getting better. I should say that, because I shouldn't be so negative on monks and nuns. But before, they're like myself anyway. I was also, as I said before, I was, till 17 years old, I was eating meat a big meat eater. Shame on me anyway. When I think of it, it is very much the shame. But I never felt shame. So it's the same thing. The monks, they don't feel shame out of not taking it serious and not doing any practices. Doesn't matter. They don't feel shame. But the foreigners, my foreign students, they come and they listen and they do practice. They try themselves their best, which is very good. I feel very positive and very thankful to you and very appreciative. So thank you very much for listening, my gossip. And that's for today. That's all for today. And now we may dedicate for this virtue for everybody. Of course, we are going to practice it. So that itself is a dedication. But not only that, you have to also dedicate as a part of the Mahayana practice. You have to dedicate in your sort of thought. You should dedicate that all the virtues of listening teachings and all the virtues of from my side, all the virtues I have created or I have accumulated from my side, whatever. It is also has to be dedicated for the longevities of all the masters, or longevities of all the great people, great practitioners, and longevities of all the animals and happiness of all the animals, all the, like whatever. So you have to really dedicate for all sentient beings to be happy, to be liberated and all these things. Just because of the listening to teaching and just because of the giving teaching. And that's very important. But most importantly speaking, this has to be committed that now from today on, I am going to practice. That is very much the dedication that you need. From today on, I'm going to practice. I'm going to change my behavior. I am going to change my negative deeds from my negative deeds to the positive deeds. So, that is the dedication. You have to really be dedicating yourself or devoting yourself into practice and into change. Not only just practicing, but really transformation. That's very important. Thank you. Chinye suda churchun jiden na tusum shekwa me senge dage malu tada thamche la lu da ngaye tang e chaje sambo cheve malam dage jawa thamche yige ngosum shenge dunye lu rab taba ye jawa kun la rab to chanzan durjiden na dunye sanje sege wina shubha tedar chaje yin malu pa thamche jawa dage kanwaram tedar ngakwa meze jazu nama yangji la jazu dagun Gyalwang yundan rab jujin devara shekwa tamje dagin meto tamba chungwa tamba dang sinyen namdang chukwa tunchud marme chodan dubwe tamba yi jewa teta lanin chubaran nasa tamba namdang tuchodan chime pumari rab nyambat kube chebar pakpin chukungi jewa teta lanin chubaran chupa kanam lamin jewa teta jewa tamje layam sambo chela tepe tawda ki jewa kunla chansa chubaran Dojajadang timu mangene luitang adang teshin yi dikpa dagi jeba chinche pa teta tamche dagi susuri chuchu jewa kundang sanje se rangje namdang lobdang milubud dhawai kunji sunam kangla yang teta kunji jesu dayi jikden dhima na chanchu rimbar sanje ma chang kumbo teta dagi tamche la kolo lana mepa kowa nyangen dadung kanshe teta la dhawai kunla penshin devich Kalpa shenge dunye shuva yang adage tarmo rabjar suva Chanse watan chujin shabatan jesu yeran kushin suva yi Gewa chungse dagi chisapa tamche zobe chanchu chimbara ngon Depe sanje namdan chuchu yi jiten dana kanshu chabaraj Kanya machin teta ram yupa samzo chanchu rimbar sanje Chuchu kali shinam jenye ba teta jachira yongsu tabaraj Chanchu shinwa chungshe gewa tan sanje sege rabdo kanwaraj Chuchu semche kana jinye ba teta tato neme dewa Dhawa kunje chuchu tunamne tumbara chuche rawang dubara Chanchu cheba tani da chuchen dhawa kundu chewa tumbara churu Tserab kundu chimbo chewa na tatu tani rabdun chungwara Dhawa kunje jesu lop churu te zambo cheba yongsu zoche Chutim cheba chime yang tapa atatu manyam chume chubara sho Haye ketan lutan ne jenge chubum tata mi kenam Dhawai kunji dhagi chizamba tamche keto dhagi chudun Tishin paru chinla rabzun de chanchu samne namyang jema Drukpa Kandam Temperature Ata Teta Mali also Chanwarasho, Ledanyo Digilenam Le Trajin and Doanam Soy. Chitrapemo Chimi Chabash, Nidan Amgartova Metraj, Shingi Chanda Chono Chitambar, and Sotung Erato Shiver. Devata Landoa Kunguji, and Doa Tamjel and Nepember, Chanchu Chabayon Soji, Simjentaki Chetan Tumbajo, Sambo Chabatan, Raptan Mao Gabo Kundo Chabar. Dagi Cheta Tumbakan Jeba, Teta Taneta to Chabar. Vidangana Tanisim Gijan, Jeba Tata Malam Chitu. Dala Pembrante Pitu Vota, Zambo Jabara to Tambanam, Tata Tayata to Tevrasho, Teta Namia Yimi, Sanje Segi Kore Gombonam, Mangosum Tato Dagi Jawat, Mahonka Kundo Mejo, Teta Lion Chaba Jaj, Yawanam Jitambi Chunzinje, Janju Java Kundo Nora, Zambo Java Nambra Jabaya, Mahonka Kundo Javra, Sipatam Jetuan Korwana, Sonami Shetane Missing. Taptan Sherava things in them, Torta, the Kunjim is in the Durjitana Dunishanam de Shindra Samje, Major Sanje, Sanje Seje, Vina Juv, Ada, Janju Java, Jujin Tavari, Tetramalu, Tamje Jozoya, Tasam Chala, Tusum Sanji, Sanje Jazo, Shinam Jazo, Kalva Jazo, Jujin Ratu, Sunji and La Jazo, Dagungi, Jawakuya, Yala Namdam, Doa Kunji Sambachi, Sanje Solata, Tonjubara. Jusum Shebe Jawa Tamjeta, Korle Sonam Rabdu Korwai, Tedake Soyam Mizela, Loyet of Jetajan Rabdu, Mahonga Batam Jenjuvaria, Kechi Jigi Dajan Juvarji, Kayan Gaba to some Seteta, Kechi Chashi Jenejuvari, to some Sheva Mi Singika, Tedake Jila Daket, Tatu Tedake Nejula, Jumar Juvenam Tartajan, Kayan to some Dagi Shinguba, Tedatu Jetendo Mamran. Teta Mali Shonam Tamjetu, Jawataki Shinam Kalaj, Kayam Majin Jitendruma, Nama Chanjur in Barsanja Polo, Yang and Debarap to Shitratan, Gombo Kunjitundu Da, Kundu Nurve Jutu Nanda, Kunegoy Tebeto, Kundu Yandan Jibetum Nanda, Kundu Chamber Jovataki Top. Chakwa Mapara Churbe is it, Sheriff Tap nothing in the Daki, Chanjutam Namyanda Dubarai. Legitum Namayan Sota Jeje, Yamotam Nam Kundu Jambar, Digitam Nam Tomerab Jeje, Zambo Jebetam Nejovar, Chinam Jazo Nambrata Jeje, Sanjan Jazo Tani Number, Chenam Jazo Rapto Ton Jeje, Eshe Jazo Rapto Tovar, Cheba Jazo Nambrata Jeje, Molam Jazo Yonso Zobar, Sanje Jazo Rapto Cheje, Kalva Jazo Mijo Jovar, Kaya Tusum Shebi Jawaye, Chanju Jebe, Molam Chedan. Sambo Chebe Chanju Sanjene, Etekun Dagi Malu Zobar, Yawakangi Seki Tuba, Kangi Mini Kundu Sanji, Kepate Don Sombara Jeve, Gewan de Datam Jerapto, Lidan Atai Janam Dachi, Jebanam Dashinam Yandapa, Oazambo Kepa Chedawa, Atender Dajan Tetan Sombar, Kunekewa Zambo Chebe, Jambe, Malam Jever, Mahongeva Kundu Mijo, Atedala Malu Zobar. Cheba Tane Chayin Maji, Yundan Namjan Sezon Mebarasho, Cheba Seme Balan, Jan, Teta Chuba Tamje Sawar, Namgete to Jurba Jizambar, Sanjan Malu Tayo Tezam, Chisam Ledan Montar Juba, Dagimolam Tayo Tezam, Kayan Chujishinam Daepa, Renjan de Java Namla, Hadami Deva Chana, Jan, Shingi Dunya Keva Piva, Kanking away Jebon de Dune, Janju Choki, Jesuranish. Lenji Samji Teba Jebana, Sanam Tambi Choto Tenjur, Kangi Sanju Malam de the Bay, Tining and Sontan Japan, Tene Chopong and Bapambai, Nawataye Tenur, Tedanya Baram Yete or Mizende or Teda Lebro, Kundo Zambote, Chendrawa, Tedar and Barameto, Samen Abotaki Kangi Mishi, Wangi Chabat, Te Zambo Jaban Dijuna, Nutumali, Onzo Janwari. Ishetane Sudan Sanam Dan, Ridan Kado Nam Dan Dember, Dudan Motik Mambu Temito, Jitan Sumbokana Chabra, Chanju Shewa Trondo Tenurun Draw, Sones and Japanjer Deto, Chanju Sanje Color Rapto Coro, Dunam Detan Jabatam Jet, Kaya Sambo Jebe Malamdi, Chawatane, Tandam Ronai, T number Mimba Sanju, Chanju Chola Sumi Maji, Jambe Pao Chetra Kembata, Kundu Sambo Teatation. Teta Kunji Jesu Dang Luchin, Gewan de Datam Jerapto, Tusum Shekwe Gewa Tamjeki, Moa Kawa Choto Napat, Tashin Gewe Zawa Dikunja, Zambuchu Jerapto Mawar, Dani Chivi Tushi Churvana Adipa Tamje Dani Chisut Nawa Daye Tatone Deva Chanji Shindra Raptut Tesonene Malam Dedacha Tamje Malu Mondo Jurvar Tetra Malu Dani Yonsu Kanji Tenchisi Simje Bemarat Deve Kengoro Sanshengawa Terra Pemo Tamba Shindu Zele Nawa Taye Musumdu London Bayan Dagi Tertu Tene Dagi London Raptote Triba Mambo Chewa Trajai Loye Topji Choju Nam Sunya Simjen Nam La Pemba Mambo Zambo Chebe Malam Tamba Ye Gewa Chungse Dagi Chisab Tinendrowe Malam Gewa Nama Keji Chigi Tamjen Jirwar Kaya Zambo Cheban Dingu Be Sanam Taye Tamba Kampu Chewa Na Waba Mepe Nerab Tobarasho Malam Gebo Dida Choki So Daendrowa Kunla Penjik Kundu Zambo Jembe Shundu Te Sonena Malu Tombara Shon Dokun Geza Chenye Yubata Chedan Chenjuru Tishin Cheba Zambo Chujuru Tendi Sata Allah Kune Kunja Zambo Rikuru Ima Ho Ngonzar Sanje Nawa Taye Ta Yesu Cho Tuji Shimbo Ta Yondo Semba Tuji Allah Sanje Chonsan Pame Kori Diki Ngonzar Pato Me Bayi Dewa Chenshe Chave Shingam Dashin Dene Tsembe Churma Ata Chewa Chenje Parma Cheba Teru Chene Nandi Shandong Sho Teke Dage Malam Tabad Chuchu Sanje Chansim Tamje Ekeme Dubra Chenje Labdo Deya Tha Penzan Deya Awa Buddha Naye Soha Ema Ho Ngonzar Sanje Nawa Taye Ta Yesu Jo Tuje Chembo Yondo Semba Tujen Tamnam Ma Sanje Chansim Bame Kogi Diki Ngonzara Pato Me Baye Dewa Chenshi Chave Shingam Dashin Dine Tsembe Chuma Ata Kewa Chenye Parma Choba Thiru Kene Nandi Shandong Sho Teke Dage Malam Tapan Chochu Sanje Chansim Tamje Keme Dubara Chenje Labdo Deya Tha Anzan Deya Awa Buddha Naye Soha Ema Ho Ngonzara Sanje Nawa Taye Ta Yesu Cho Tuje Chembo Yondo Semba Tujin Tamnamala Sanje Chansan Pamen Korgi Diki Ngonzara Pato Me Baye Dewa Chenshi Chave Shingam Dashin Dene Tsembe Churma Ata Chewa Shenje Parma Choban Thiru Kene Nandi Shandong Sho Teke Dage Malam Tapan Chochu Sanje Chansam Tamje Keme Dobara Chenje Labdo Deya Tha Penzan Deya Awa Buddha Naye Soha Chodu Jewa Seje Gong Sonyi Zola Jira Dagi tu sum ge sa pa kunjo sum la choba Gewe temba pejuru ji gewa sanje kun la ngu Rukun sanje tor juru ji ge sa tamji ji ji Dashin ge la mi juru ji dimni tane chozo de Seri ne me nyam to pel chende sa junu juru Namshi tsembi churma ta dewa chendo je juru ji Chene pe me ka che te lu ten te la sanje Chanchu tamne chi si tu Rendo an jen barai sho Dewa Chengi Shingam Na Sanje Wapa Mengur Malam Takpe Chungsa Yi Shingcho Dero Jewa Raisho